It started with a whisper, a rumor, a tiny crack in the carefully polished world of conservative royalty. But within hours, that whisper turned into a digital earthquake that ripped straight through every timeline, every podcast feed, every backstage corridor of power. Because tonight, the two voices nobody expected to collide, Joe Rogan and Candace Owens, have just dropped claims about Erika Kirk so massive, so unnervingly precise that even her most loyal defenders don't know where to look anymore. The internet didn't just react. It detonated one leaked clip, one accidental hot mic, one moment that shouldn't have been caught on camera, and suddenly, the question is no longer who Erika Kirk is, but what she's been hiding. Joe Rogan didn't ease into it. He went straight for the truth like he'd been waiting for this moment. Candace didn't tiptoe either. She came in like a blade, slicing through the polite narrative, revealing cracks nobody dared examine until now, and what they exposed together. It's sending shockwaves so loud even people outside the political world are hearing the aftershocks, because this isn't just commentary. This is a storyline collapsing in real time. Insiders are panicking. Fans are melting down. Old allies are distancing themselves on social media without saying a single word. And deep inside Turning Point USA, sources claim a scramble is happening behind closed doors. Frantic messages, emergency calls, and a desperate attempt to keep one secret from spilling into the public. But it might already be too late. What happened next didn't feel like commentary. It felt like a detonation, because barely an hour after that clip leaked, an anonymous account with a long history of dropping political deep cuts posted something that stopped the internet cold, a supposed transcript of a private conversation between two Turning Point staffers. The message was short, tense, and terrifying if real. She knows it's coming. One line read. She said she's preparing the statement. No name, no timestamp, just those words. And instantly, people assumed that she was Erika Kirk. Screenshots spread everywhere. Forums collapsed under traffic. Even influencers who usually stay out of political drama were posting it with captions like, "What is going on behind the scenes?" But the real explosion didn't hit until Joe Rogan addressed the leak live. He leaned into the mic, eyebrows raised, voice low enough to send chills down every listener's spine. "If that transcript is real," he said, "then someone inside that organization is seriously worried." His guest paused, stunned, asking, "Worried about what?" And Joe, almost too calmly, replied, "Whatever Erika's been holding back." That sentence hit the internet like a meteor dot within minutes. TikTok was flooded with videos titled "Joe Knows Something" and "Erika's Secret is About to Drop." People slowed down old interviews, cropped in on her expressions, dragged up clips from years ago, insisting they had seen the signs all along. But then Candace Owens took the mic, and the entire temperature of the conversation snapped from scorching to volcanic. She didn't wait. She didn't warm up. She came in swinging. "What we're seeing," she said sharply, "is not grief. It's choreography." Gasps, real, audible gasps, even through the screen. She continued before anyone could catch their breath. "There is a difference between emotion and performance. And Erika has mastered one of those far better than the other." The way she said mastered sent chills across timelines. People froze the clip, zoomed in on Candace's glare, posted it with captions like "Candace just declared war." Others argued she went too far, but the conversation had already spiraled into a frenzy. Then Candace dropped the line nobody was prepared for. "There are recordings." The internet stopped breathing. She didn't explain. She didn't elaborate. She just let that word hang in the air like a loaded weapon. Comment sections erupted instantly. Recordings of what? Who recorded who? What is she implying? Influencers went live trying to decode her tone, her posture, her micro-expressions. People started guessing wildly. Private conversations? Meetings? Phone calls? But it got 10 times worse when she added, "And trust me, The public would not react the way she hopes. Boom, shockwave. Several Turning Point insiders posted cryptic tweets, then deleted them seconds later, but not fast enough to avoid screenshots. One said, "This is spiraling faster than anyone expected." Another, "She won't be able to control this story forever." Then the truly unthinkable happened. A video surfaced, a low quality, shaky 3-second clip with muffled voices, allegedly captured backstage at an event months before Charlie's tragedy. In the clip, a woman who sounds disturbingly like Erika says, "Don't let them see me upset." Not yet, 3 words. That's it. But those 3 words hit like dynamite. Was it real? Was it edited? Nobody could tell, but the damage was already done. Joe Rogan played the audio on his show. He listened, silent, face unreadable. Then he said, if that's real, then she wasn't grieving. She was planning. The internet imploded. Hashtags erupted at once. Hashtag Erika Kirk leaks. Hashtag stage managed sadness. Hashtag truth or performance. It became the biggest digital wildfire of the week. Even mainstream evening news opened with segments like, "The Erika Kirk controversy deepens after new audio emerges." But the most chaotic moment came when a former TPUSA volunteer posted a long, emotional thread claiming Erika was known for switching moods instantly whenever a camera turned on. She could be furious, the volunteer wrote. Then the second a lens appeared, she went soft-spoken and spiritual. It was like watching a switch flip. People stitched, reacted, debated, but it didn't end there. Another insider posted anonymously, saying staff had been ordered not to contradict Erika's version of events under any circumstances. That one leak alone set off thousands of conspiracy threads. Some people claimed it was just workplace drama. Others insisted it proved Candace's claims of performance. Meanwhile, Erika's supporters fought back fiercely, calling the leaks manufactured, the recordings fake, the insiders disgruntled. But that only poured gasoline on the fire. Then Candace escalated everything. She aired a segment showing 2 side-by-side clips of Erika talking about Charlie, one from years before, full of passion and conviction, and one from after the tragedy, where her tone seemed colder, more distant, more measured. Watching the clips back-to-back was jarring, unsettling, like seeing 2 different people wearing the same face. Something happened between these 2 moments, Candace said. And we deserve to know what changed. And we deserve to know what changed. The audience went silent, not the quiet of disagreement, the quiet of shock, of processing, of realizing the narrative they'd accepted might not be the whole truth. Commenters wrote things like, "This is actually terrifying," and "Why does this feel like a script unraveling in real time?" Then Joe Rogan responded to the Candace clip on his next show. "She's right," he said. "People don't flip their emotional tone without a catalyst." His guest asked, "So, what's the catalyst?" Joe didn't answer directly. He sighed, looked down, then said something that made the internet lose its collective mind. "Let's just say people empowered don't always grieve. Sometimes they strategize." Millions of views, millions. At this point, fans weren't just discussing Erika's reactions. They were questioning every timeline, every interview, every carefully staged appearance. TikTok detectives started dissecting her gestures. Reddit threads read like crime boards. Even late-night hosts joked, at this point, Erika Kirk's facial expressions have been analyzed more than the moon landing footage. But the chaos reached its peak when a well-known conservative commentator hinted that Candace and Joe weren't just reacting. They were responding to information the public hadn't seen yet. "Trust me," he tweeted. "This is deeper than people realize." Screenshots exploded across every platform. And then, without warning, a second audio leak dropped. This one wasn't muffled. It wasn't short. It wasn't vague. It was a full sentence, spoken in Erika's unmistakable voice. "They'll believe whatever version I give them." Silence, shock, mayhem. Some said it was fake. Others said it was damning. But one thing was undeniable: the internet had reached a tipping point. Comment sections went feral. Fears multiplied by the second, and in the middle of the madness, Candace posted a single message: More to come. The world collectively froze. If this was round 1, what was coming next? Because whatever Candace meant, whatever she was about to reveal, it wasn't going to be small. It was going to be catastrophic. And Joe Rogan's final line that night only made the tension snap even tighter. Something big is about to break. The world didn't blink. It braced. The moment Joe Rogan said, "Something big is about to break," the entire internet froze like it had been plunged into ice water. People weren't just watching anymore, they were waiting, refreshing feeds every few seconds, searching hashtags like detectives in a burning room. Comment sections felt electric, buzzing with anticipation, dread, excitement, and a weird sense that this wasn't just drama anymore. It was a countdown. And then, like a spark hitting a gas leak, everything ignited at once because out of nowhere, someone dumped a full thread onto X claiming to be a former Turning Point communications strategist. And the details were so specific, so dramatic, so disturbingly precise that people started calling it the most dangerous leak the movement had ever seen. The first post read, "If you knew what happened the week before Charlie's tragedy, you wouldn't be defending Erika, trust me." This wasn't grief. It was preparation. The internet went feral. Within minutes, the thread had 1 million views. Screenshots were flooding group chats. Reaction channels were already recording videos before they even finished reading the whole thing. And the second post was even worse. We had to rehearse her responses. Every single one. Down to the pauses, rehearse her pauses. That phrase took over TikTok in seconds. People stitched the thread with Erika's memorial speech, zooming in dramatically every time she blinked, every time she inhaled, every micro expression that suddenly looked like a meticulously designed emotional beat. Influencers were crying. Commentators were screaming. Half of Twitter was accusing her of being manipulative, while the other half insisted the leak was fake. But then someone posted screenshots showing the account had followed dozens of TPUSA staff for years, and they followed back, which meant whoever posted it. They weren't a random troll, they were someone who had been inside the building. The third post dropped like an atomic bomb. You think Candace is exaggerating? You think Joe is reaching? They've actually seen the footage. Double quotes footage. Not audio. Not transcripts. Footage. Suddenly, everything made sense. The confidence in Candace's voice. The way Joe kept circling the idea that people were strategizing. The undertone in every interview they'd done since the story blew up. People began posting wild theories. Was Erika caught yelling at staff? Breaking character? Admitting something? Talking about the timeline? Some thought it was staged moments. Others thought it was inconsistencies. But one theory rose to the top like smoke from a fresh fire. The footage showed Erika saying something she didn't want the public to hear. TikTok detectives started analyzing every possible scenario, creating entire cinematic recreations of what the footage might contain. Some videos had millions of likes in hours. Even celebrities reacted, actors, influencers, sports stars. Everyone with a platform suddenly pretending to be forensic analysts as they weighed in on the Erika mystery. But then the next twist arrived, one no one saw coming, a verified journalist. Someone known for actually breaking political leaks. Claimed on a live stream that they had spoken to someone directly involved in the situation. The footage, the journalist whispered, leaning close to the mic, was recorded by someone Erika trusted. That sentence flipped everything. If that was true, it meant betrayal. Deep betrayal. Someone inside her circle. Someone close enough to capture private moments. Someone who had access to the inner rooms, the staff meetings. The raw, unfiltered version of Erika. People began posting lists of everyone who'd ever been seen with her. Backstage, writers, assistants, security, even longtime family friends. The internet was turning into a manhunt. Meanwhile, Erika stayed absolutely silent. But silence, at this point, wasn't neutral. Silence felt like confirmation. Silence felt like the space between lightning and thunder. And just as the buzz reached its unbearable peak, Candace Owens returned to her podcast, and she came in with the same expression people now call the Candace calm, a look that meant she was about to burn the house down with a single sentence. She opened the show with, "I told you the story wasn't what it seemed." Then she played a clip. It wasn't Erika. It wasn't Charlie. It wasn't anything anyone expected. It was Jesse Waters, a leaked behind-the-scenes moment from his conversation with producers before interviewing Erika. He whispered, "Just keep her comfortable. Avoid the tougher angles. We can't have her fall apart on air." Fall apart? Candace paused the clip and looked into the camera with the coldest stare she'd ever delivered. Fall apart? Why would she fall apart? What did they already know? The comments exploded. People accused Fox of shielding her. Others insisted he just meant emotionally supportive. But then Candace rewound the clip and zoomed in on the producer's response. "We've all seen the rehearsal. Just stick to the agreed questions." The rehearsal, people screamed. Literal screams were recorded on live streams. Viewers clipped their own jaw drops. Even Candace didn't need to say anything. The clip said enough on its own. But she wasn't done. She leaned forward, locked eyes with the camera, and said, "There's more." The internet lost control. And then, in the most dramatic moment of the entire saga, Candace held up a sealed envelope and said, "This contains verified statements from someone you all know." Someone who was in the room. Chat exploded with, "Open IT, open IT, open IT, open IT." But she didn't. She slid it to the side and continued the show like nothing happened, letting the envelope sit there like a ticking bomb. That moment broke the entire timeline. Clips of the envelope went viral. People screenshot it, zoomed in, enhanced the lighting, tried to guess the thickness of the papers, speculated about whether the handwriting on the front was Erika's. It was insanity. And the envelope wasn't even opened. But then Joe Rogan responded. He said he hadn't seen the envelope, but he'd heard things. His tone was too calm, too precise. The kind of calm people recognized from his interviews when he knows more than he can legally say. He said, "If what Candace is hinting at is true, then the real story is bigger than Erika, bigger than Erika." That line felt like a crack splitting open the floor. People weren't sleeping. They weren't logging off. They were hooked like it was a global investigation, unfolding minute by minute. And that's when the moment arrived, the one that sent the story from scandal to full-blown crisis. A third audio leak surfaced. This one wasn't fuzzy or questionable. This one was painfully clear, crystal, studio quality, a woman's voice, unmistakably Erika's, saying, "They think I'm emotional." Good. It keeps them from asking real questions. The world stopped. Every feed, every post, every podcast. It felt like the planet inhaled and forgot to exhale, because this time there was no ambiguity, no distortion, no plausible deniability. This was calculated. This was chilling. This was strategy. And before anyone could process the shock, a final message appeared on the anonymous whistleblower's account. "You haven't even seen the worst of it yet." Then the account disappeared. Deleted. Gone. Timeline detonated. And in the middle of the chaos, Candace posted 3 words: "It begins tomorrow." The moment Candace Owens posted "It begins tomorrow," the entire internet snapped into a level of hysteria no one had seen since the Johnny Depp trial. Influencers canceled their planned uploads. News channels teased major developments. Even political commentators who usually stayed far from gossip suddenly pivoted their entire shows around one question: what was about to begin? Timelines froze in anticipation, and every platform felt like it was holding its breath. Then sunrise hit, and everything imploded at once. At exactly 9:00 a.m., Candace went live with what she promised would be the most important episode she'd ever released. Over 600,000 people tuned in instantly, another million within minutes. The live chat raced so fast it looked like static. Candace didn't smile. She didn't posture. She didn't warm up the audience. She just stared into the camera as if she were about to deliver a eulogy. "We're going to talk about what's really been happening behind the scenes," she said. "No PR, no editing, no filters, just truth." The silence after that line didn't feel human. It felt cosmic. Then she lifted the envelope, the same one she teased the night before. the envelope that had broken the internet with nothing but its existence. She didn't open it immediately. She placed it gently on the desk, almost ceremonially, like she was presenting evidence in a trial. Then she leaned forward and added, "Before we open this, I want you to understand one thing. The people who gave me this information did it at great personal risk." That line triggered a shockwave of speculation. Risk? What kind of risk? What was so big that even insiders were afraid to come forward? Candace tapped the envelope once. We begin with the timeline. She pulled up a screen split showing Erika's public appearances before and after Charlie's tragedy. Two separate versions of Erika. One bright, charismatic, animated. The other calm, controlled, calculated. Candace played them back to back, pausing strategically. "These aren't mood differences," she said. "These are behavioral shifts." She rewound, zoomed in, slowed down, pointed out how Erika's micro-expressions changed only when cameras were present, not when they were off. She even showed a leaked clip where Erika snapped at an assistant seconds before switching into her soft-spoken stage voice. The internet was combusting. But then Candace shifted gears and dropped the first bombshell of the day. A never-before-seen email screenshot allegedly sent by a Turning Point executive the night before Erika's Fox interview. The message read, "We need everything aligned. No surprises. Stick to the story, stick to the story." Candace stared into the camera. "What story?" she asked. Viewers lost their minds. Theories exploded in the chat. And just when people couldn't take any more tension, she picked up the envelope and finally opened it. Inside were printed pages. Thick, highlighted, TABBED. Candace pulled out the first sheet. "This," she said, "is a sworn statement from someone who was in the room during Erika's private preparation for her highly publicized memorial speech. You could feel the temperature in the digital world rise 10 degrees. Candace began reading. The statement claimed Erika rehearsed the speech multiple times, not to manage emotions, but to control optics. It said she practiced her pauses, timed her expressions, and even asked staff which moments would hit the hardest with the audience. According to the statement, one staffer allegedly told her, "You don't have to cry, but make your eyes look wet. It reads better." People screamed on live streams, screamed, actual shouting. Clips of fans covering their mouths, tearing up, gasping. It was like watching the world react to a scandal in real time. And Candace wasn't done. She moved to the second page. This statement was worse. It claimed Erika asked to review and approve any staff comments that mentioned Charlie's final days. "We can't have inconsistencies," she supposedly said. "Everything needs to match." It painted a picture of someone less concerned with mourning and more concerned with narrative control. Then Candace quietly added, "And this was before Charlie's body was even laid to rest." The chat exploded with messages like, "This is evil," "Nitrogen monoxide way," "Is this real?" "Open the rest." But nothing prepared the audience for the third statement. It wasn't from a staffer. It wasn't from an executive. It was from someone incredibly close to Charlie, someone who claimed Erika had warned him weeks before the tragedy that something big was coming, and that she needed him to stay aligned. No matter what happens, the world detonated. Candace paused, looked into the camera, let the weight of that statement sink into the bones of every viewer. "Why?" she asked quietly. Would she say that? Theories erupted like fireworks. Some insisted it was taken out of context. Others said it sounded like strategic positioning. But everyone agreed nothing about it felt normal. Then Candace revealed the final page. A message allegedly sent by Erika herself, leaked by someone she trusted. The message read, "People believe the version they're given. If the narrative is consistent, the truth becomes irrelevant." People didn't gasp this time, they froze, silent, horrified, shaken. Candace held the page up to the camera, letting the entire internet absorb the weight of those words. "This," she said, "is what Joe Rogan has been talking about. This is why he said strategy, not emotion. This is why he said the truth hides in silence, Moments later, Joe Rogan went live unexpectedly. He didn't laugh, didn't joke, didn't even introduce the episode. He just said, "I've seen some of these documents." And if what Candace just read is accurate, then we're dealing with something way bigger than a PR crisis. We're dealing with a manipulation campaign. Millions tuned in instantly. Joe continued, "This is not normal behavior. This is not how people process grief. This is how institutions control stories," his co-host whispered. "So you think the footage is real?" Joe hesitated, and that hesitation said everything. "I think," he answered slowly, "that the footage might be worse than the audio. The internet had a meltdown so severe it felt like a cultural collapse. Everyone demanded to know, what footage? Who saw it? When would it drop?" But in the middle of the chaos, something unexpected happened. Erika broke her silence. She posted a video just 42 seconds long. Her eyes were red, her voice shaky, her tone soft. She said, "I know things are being said. I know the world is confused. But there are truths that haven't been spoken, and there are people who know exactly why." Then she said something that turned the entire saga inside out. "Be careful who you trust. Not everyone speaking right now is telling you the whole story." The video ended. No explanation, no context, no details, but the last 5 seconds of the clip, those broke the internet. Because someone's reflection appeared faintly in the glass behind her, someone who wasn't supposed to be there. And people recognized the silhouette instantly. It wasn't a turning point staffer. It wasn't a family member. It was someone whose involvement changes everything. Someone who shouldn't be anywhere near her right now. And as the internet tried to decode the reflection, enhance the frame, zoom in pixel by pixel, one question spread like wildfire. Why was he in the room? And what does he know that the rest of the world doesn't? Everything was about to flip. Everything, because the next reveal wouldn't just break the internet. It would break alliances, careers, and the storyline the world thought it understood. And the silhouette behind Erika? It wasn't an accident. It was a warning. If you're still here after everything that just unfolded, then you already know the story is nowhere near over. The cracks are widening, the leaks are multiplying, and the people involved are starting to show their real faces, whether they mean to or not. What comes next could flip the entire narrative upside down, and if you're not locked in with US, you're going to miss the moment everything finally snaps into place. This is the kind of story that doesn't just break online, it rewrites itself in real time. So before the next leak drops, before the next audio shakes the internet, before the next insider decides to risk everything, make sure you hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on notifications right now. Because the next chapter, it's coming fast, and trust me, you don't want to hear it secondhand. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What did you see in that reflection? Who do you think is pulling the strings? What truth do you think they're still hiding? Your theories might be the key to unlocking what happens next. Stay sharp, stay ready, and stay tuned. The biggest twist is still loading.